right, today we're going to bring a outdoor camera, and this is a PoE, if power over Ethernet. If you're not familiar or don't have PoE, it also could be connected with power and then using your Ethernet. Now, this is a great AI tracking system that we're going to set up today. We're going to test it on the day and we're going to test it at night. So if you guys can see, this thing comes apart, and basically you got to make sure you screw in 3 tops and screw it in. There's an unlock and lock feature that you got to find and just twist it. That's all. So match it up and twist it. Now the cable management can go within the inside of the system. Very simple. And if you don't want to make sure it's flush, you can always do this part right there. So we're going to put it up together and see how it works. So let's go and do that. All right, let's take a look at the actual features that you get from the system itself. When you log in and you create it on your network, you have access to a lot more things. Now, like I said, included, you could set it up to record to your DVR directly, or you could do a micro SD card directly to the camera itself, that it could become like a pretty much like a server to store the actual footage on this. This is my backyard that I'm cleaning up in the back. I took out my pool, I'm taking all the water out, and normally I like to see what's going on in the backyard because, you know, we have a lot of metal, people's been breaking in. We want to make sure that we are able to capture everything that comes in, not just animals or human beings, but, you know, pretty much any kind of movement or things that are missing and stuff like that that we need to store, and we want to make sure we keep an eye on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features that you have in here. Right now on the left hand corner, if you guys can see, I have live in this section. I have live. We have playback here. Playback is if you have your DVR connected to it, or like I said, if you have an SD card on it. Now photos, this is where it's going to store a lot of the pictures too. And if you guys can see, you have a storage space. If you have a memory card in the actual system, you can store pictures and videos. Setup, this is pretty much if you want to set it up on your network, the timeline, pretty much users interface and so forth. And you have the network settings here that you have to have installed. Now, right now we have a DHCP. You can always set up a static IP to the system. So every time you disconnect and connect it, you don't have to, you know, remember the IP or figure out the IP. Now, this is a great features for those that have a network in their environment and they want to distinguish the cameras or give it a different IP. This is where you actually set up all that stuff. Video camera quality right now, this goes up to 4K right now. If you guys see resolutions 4K, so we are getting the highest resolution on it, on the maximum. Now we are going to test it at night and to see how bright it is, how much light it needs to actually see at night. So we are going to test that out. Images, the same thing. A couple of things that you could take out. It's giving a little demo where you could change the brightness and so forth. This is pretty much creating a lot of the movements that we have. If we have cross the line, you create a cross the line, or you create a platform, a zone. Anybody that comes in there, the system will automatically start, you know, identifying it, and not only that, notifying you too. Events, these are events that are happening, and you can set up rules and so forth. Trigger actions, you can set up trigger actions, meaning that, you know, like I said, zones, personnel, animals, and so forth coming in. Now plan, this is pretty much the setup of the schedule that you want to set up. All right, then storage space, this is where I'm telling you, you can set up to a memory card. You have actually to a NAS, which I own a NAS in Synology. You can set up your NAS directly to this system, so you don't have to worry about space pretty much. So that's a great option to have because you will have unlimited space on that part. Now you are going to need some network capabilities to actually take advantage of that. All right, just to give you, it's not an easy task, but there's a lot of videos out there, and this is not a tutorial on how to set that up. Now, this one we're going to move on. FTP, if you own an FTP on-site, which is it's pretty much for a web hosting system that people pay services a lot, especially now these old cameras do still own FTP, so you go upload all your files and videos and stuff like that. Now, depending on your internet speeds, you're not going to get the best quality. Sometimes it's not going to capture the best, so you might have to look into that to see your connectivity first. It's not always a guarantee that you're going to get the best quality of it. Now, security, this is actually admin. This is where I come in. You set up extra additional users if you want. It's up to you. And then watermark. This is if you want to make sure when you're giving out this video or recording, say to a new cast, and you want to make sure your watermark's embedded so it will not be copyrighted or stolen or anything like that in the live playback here. And this is a live footage of the backyard. You have all these great options on here. All right, if you ever want to access the actual camera from anywhere, you're going to require an application. So there is an app, it's called GuardView, and we already set it up. So I'm going to show you some of the features that you have in here. So right now we currently have one camera, but you could add many cameras into the system. So there's a lot of features you can do. You can record directly to it, and it'll record directly to your phone. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and increase the size of this one so you guys can see my backyard. You can take snapshots, record 1 2 3 recording right now, and then we're stopping it, of course, and it tells you can play back whatever you record. You got device management, you got image of settings, alarms, and then you could close all the applications. The quality, you could change it. Right now we have it to the highest. Two-way communication, so if there's somebody in the backyard and you want to talk to them, or in the front yard, you could do that through the actual phone. And then of course you can always save your favorite cameras into your settings too. Now additional settings there's in here that you could do playback, devices, pictures, favorites, alarms, and notifications. Now in order to set this up, you are going to need a couple things. You're going to need either an IP address from the camera or a barcode from the camera. So those are two options. These are great options that you can have included on your phone. So let's continue and do a live view of the night and day so you guys can see the quality.
I'm testing out the audio. I'm standing about 6 or 7 feet away from the camera. We're going to test it out, and we're going to listen in to see how it sounds. Mic test. 1 2 3. Mic test. 1 2 3.
99.6 of you are not subscribers in my channel. I hope that the content helps you out and that you find it very useful. And I hope you hit the like and subscribe